Yeah, here we are. I love this new song. Love the new opening song. Hi, everybody. Ron Onesti with Hangin and Bangin tonight. Artists on Lockdown, episode week number 42. We're making the best out of this whole quarantine lockdown thing. It looks like we're coming out of really, really soon. But each week on a Thursday night, we feature some of the monsters of rock, the legends of rock, and tonight is no different. Two gentlemen that we are just, I can't wait because not only do we have the drummer from the Cult, Rob Zombie, White Zombie, all this great history with one of our guests, but our other guest, and we're going to talk about this in a second, is one of my personal heroes. So we got John Tempesta tonight, Eddie Trunk, but before we do, let me bring my co-host, my brothers. First of all, my cohort, a guy I've got so much respect for. You just couldn't tell by what we say on this show, but I really do, and I love him very much. You know him from Dio, you know him from Last in Line, of course, Black Sabbath. Come on, Vinny Appice. There.
Hey, Ron, how you doing, man?
You know, you should. This is going to be an episode for the hard of hearing because you looks like you're going to be doing it.
That's me, hard of hearing.
Yeah. I tell you what, you haven't looked better. Oh, there you are. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm gonna go after the show. I'm gonna go to the clothing store and I got a big royalty check. So
here it comes. Let's see. $1 was it? 01. You know what? There's a lot to be said about your value and what you've given to rock and roll, Vinny. You got a 1 cent check.
I'm going to buy some new clothes and stuff.
Well, you know what? Looking at you, I can see that. But you know what? I'm not going to mess with you right now. Let's bring
a jacket like that.
You know what? Here's the thing. You know what kills me? I did not wear one of I'm usually in the concert t-shirts. The king of concert t-shirts, Eddie Trunk, is on tonight. And I'm dressed like a freaking English teacher tonight. I don't know what made me do this. What made me do this? Let's bring our older brother, our big brother, our legendary brother to the microphone. You know him from Vanilla Fudge. Rod, all this, another one. Okay, is this the theme tonight?
See, everything I do, he does.
That's right.
I started.
Carmine Appice, there he is.
Hey guys, how you doing?
You know, you're looking really. I don't know. I mean, you look good every week, Carm, but I gotta say, today,
Heidi.
Don't you? You look very svelte tonight. You look good.
Well, that's because I had to go to. I'm in Hollywood.
What happened?
I'm in Hollywood. That's what happened.
Well, you looking to get discovered? What?
I had to go to. There's a TV show that's happening for Prime with the No Cover. It's called. It's a contest. My group Kodiak is in it.
Oh, so
I
really?
went there this morning. I had to get a COVID test, and then they said, "Hey, Alice Cooper's in the hotel across the Sunset Marquee, as me and Vinny know." And he said, "Go and say hi." So I went and said hi to Alice. We hung out for like 20 minutes. I got a picture with me with Alice, and
really,
it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. It's so funny what the old rockers talk about now. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Like he said, "Dude, my album came out." I said, "Yeah, I heard about it because Johnny B's on it. Johnny B used to play with Mitch Ryder's an old friend of mine from Cactus, and the album went to #1." I said, "Yeah, but the difference is when it went to #1." $1 Billion Babies, he said, went 48 years ago. Wow. I said, you probably sold 1 million copies to get to #1. Now, like 40,000 copies, if that, to reach #1. So you really don't make any money now. He goes, I know.
And they didn't make money then either, so it's all the same, right?
No, they made money then. When we had a #1 record back in 48 years ago, you made money.
Really?
Yeah. You
hear so many bad stories, though. So many horror stories. How everybody got screwed out of money from record deals, bad deals, bad labels.
But not Alice. Not Alice. He's been doing it for a long time.
Well, guys, today we've got a great show tonight, and we've got. Now, here's the thing. Every week we talk about our heroes. We've talked about your heroes, from Gene Krupa to Buddy Rich to those types of guys. But for what you guys do, those are your heroes. But for what I do, being kind of behind the scenes, hosting things here and there, doing what we're doing here, my hero, Eddie freaking Trunk. That's my hero. And we're going to bring Eddie. I'm telling you. So let's bring Eddie Trunk to the screen because look at this guy.
Eddie freaking Trunk. There he is.
Eddie freaking Trunk is on. This is a big deal.
Very kind of you to say, Ron. It's nice to be somebody's hero. You know.
You know what?
I appreciate that.
I would appreciate, Ben, could you just mute Vinny and Carmine for the next 45 minutes or so?
You watch it, buddy.
No, because this is my time. Let's see, 41 episodes before, musical heroes, great, that's your guy. But for me tonight, this is my Johnny Carson here. You got to understand. This is my David Letterman.
Vin, I got to tell you the God's honest truth. I've gotten no joke, about 100 checks for that same amount in residuals for that metal show. I'm not even kidding you. I got them all in a stack right here. I don't even cash them. I get the same checks.
Is this from the metal show? It says Easy Song.
No, but it could have been, because that's the same amount I get for that.
So, but tell us, guys.
I've been getting thousands from the metal show.
Oh yeah.
But no, you know what? All kidding aside, guys, because you know what that's all about. But why would you guys why is it a placeholder? Why are you getting a 1 cent check?
And it costs 50 cents.
I know, to mail, $1 to mail.
Hey, I'll tell you what, it was probably 400 plays of a downstream somewhere, stream for something. Because you get 0.003 cents, right, per song. So to make 1 penny, it's about 400 streams to make a penny. So maybe that's what that is.
Is that the minimum? I mean,
yeah, it has something to do with streaming. The checks I get are anywhere from like 1 cent to 7 cents, and it has something to do with like the streaming, and then when it gets broken up in a million categories. But then the other thing is, which is really funny, is like, I don't know, 15 years ago, I played a comatose body in a reenactment scene in that HBO show Autopsy.
Do it.
Every 3 months, I get a check for like $170. So
really, that's something.
That actually pays, and 100 and something episodes of a TV show that I co-hosted, I get pennies. It's crazy. You can't figure it out.
Hey, at least you could say you're getting paid. That's better than a lot of people out there right now.
Right.
Hey, let's bring to the screen our other guest tonight. Again, another drummer hero that we have here on Hangin and Bangin. You know him from a lot of years with White Zombie, with Rob Zombie, of course, the current drummer of the Cult. Let's bring Giovanni Tempesta. That's what we're going to call him tonight.
Oh, look at these guys over here.
Giovanni from the Bronx.
My drum hero is right here, man. Honestly, how you guys doing today?
Good to see you, brother.
Good.
Italian Drummer Day.
Yeah, again.
National holiday.
We've had so many Italian drummers on this thing, except we had Max Weinberg. That didn't go in there. But Max was great. But
well, he could have been our lawyer.
We had Danny Serafine. We had Liberty DeVito.
Bobby Rondinelli.
Bobby Rondinelli. Yep.
We didn't have Bobby yet, did we? No, I don't think so.
If it makes you feel better, my mom's last name is Ardolino, so I can be Eddie Ardolino for that.
Come on! Oh, that's why I knew there was a reason.
I like it.
Like Eddie Ardolino from Brooklyn.
Well, we got Giovanni from the Bronx.
Giovanni.
Eddie Ardolino from the Brooklyn. Hey.
All right.
Do you are you up over at the Bronx Little Italy there? My Mike's Deli, Arthur Avenue, any of those places?
Oh, man. I like that. The Drum Mafia. The Drum
Mafia. That's a good title.
All right.
You guys are killing me.
Our next album, Vin.
Yeah. Well, how about remember the time we did the Vic Firth shoot with Marco? We all had the suits on.
Oh, yeah,
it was like the Mafia
shoot.
Yeah. That's a great pick, man.
That was a Mafia suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, John. Let me ask you a question here, because each week I get the honor and privilege of working with these brothers.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And I'm talking about two white guys here, but they're two brothers. And Scum of the Earth, you had the chance to work with your brother.
That's right.
Mike. And now how does that working with you? I know it's all about with these guys working together. And you know what, before we continue, I got to say, I don't know if you ever saw or experienced Drum Wars with these two guys doing it.
I have. And
Incredible.
Actually, I was in Spain. Remember that? I ran into you guys in Spain. I was doing a drum clinic. It was in Madrid. And like all of a sudden, I ran into you guys at the restaurant or something before your show. I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
I freaked you guys out. That was hilarious.
Man. You did actually.
That was great. was great.
So
yeah.
how was it when you were doing it with Mike? I mean, did you guys, like these guys, they know what they're going to do before the other one does
Mike
it.
a drummer? Is Mike a drummer?
My brother's a guitar player.
He's a guitar player.
Oh, guitar player. It's easy when you're a guitar player and a drummer, right? It's just like you jam. You just jam.
He wrote the riff, and Riggs wrote the riff.
I keep jamming with Vinny. I said, let's try this in G. And he goes, what's G?
Gee whiz.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, don't forget, we are going to officially, towards the end of the show, have an addition, a small episode of Stump the Trunk. Yes, we're going to try to do that.
You're going down, Ed. You're
going down. So I got, my chat is going freaking crazy over here, and some of these questions I cannot ask, but some of them I will. So remember, we're going to do that towards the end of the show. You guys get me on Snapchat here, on the chat line, and we'll try, which is impossible. This guy, I'm telling you. Eddie, I know what I do, which is nothing compared to what you've been doing, and I know you live the rock and roll world, but all this information, I mean, 2 books, all these TV shows, you're the official, I got to say, you're the official rock and roll historian, at least for certain, like 80s, 70s, 80s, of course.
I mean, look at all them gold records back there, Ron.
I know. But those are all. Are those all gifts? But how do you prepare? I mean, do you actually study this stuff? I mean, is this something that you've worked on or just lived?
No, honestly, I'm asked that a lot, and it's just been my life, and I really don't study it. I mean, it's my day-to-day life. I'm still somebody that likes reading. I want to know more about the records than just getting them. One of my biggest issues now in the streaming world, which I'm not a fan of, is I still want CDs from people or physical product, because it's so much more helpful. Because when I get a CD, I go to the booklet, and just like when I was a kid, I read every thank you. I read who mixed it, who mastered it, who wrote the songs. That stuff's really important to me, and it always was, and it just stuck. But the truth of the matter is, nothing else sticks. Like, people ask me that all the time, and they'd be surprised to know, like, I'm terrible with history. I'm terrible with dates. I'm terrible with math. But when it comes to this music that I loved, it just got deeper into me than just listening to it and saying, yeah, that was cool. If I liked it, I needed to just learn about it, and that's how it always was.
You're terrible with history. That I can't get over.
History, like history in the world, not music.
Sure. I understand.
Yeah. And to add to Eddie's, that's why there are no rock icons anymore, because you don't know who's playing it. You stream it down, you don't know who's playing everything. New icons.
Something just hhappened. Like when I have guests on my radio show every day, I'll ask whoever booked them, I'll say, hey, can you, because of course we all know the record industry used to be a time where somebody in the media got every record sent to them automatically. Now it's like, you got, it's like what you're asking for, to say, hey, can you get me a CD? And to me, it's really important, because not only is it still the best sounding to me, but I learned so much from just looking at a booklet. Vinny, when you were on with my show a couple of weeks ago when we were doing the Sabbath stuff, I read the liner notes to Heaven and Hell, and I couldn't believe what Geezer was talking about in there about the Dio sign thing. And I brought that up, and I would have never known that if I didn't read the book. Or this record came out, and in the booklet, Taylor is photographed topless. I was shocked, and nobody talked about it because nobody opened the booklet to the record. So when she was on, I asked her about doing that and why she decided to do it. There's so much more content about these artists if you take the time to do more than just click on a stream or YouTube link.
That's really amazing. I mean, I could see that whole concept, like liner note trivia or something. I mean, because that's a mini history book. It's a mini play-by-play program of what they just did. They just accomplished.
Yeah, I
think everybody looked at the.
Well, real quick, I was just going to say, I grew up working in a record store, and that was really important to me, and that taught me to learn a lot about music. Even if I personally wasn't into it, it gave me a broad, and then it just forced me to learn about it, and I retained it, and to this day, it's something that I just live every day. So it's not like I sit down and study. It's just a daily thing to me, and I just keep taking it as much as I can. The challenge now, as we all know, is you don't even need a record label anymore. So that is like 20 times what it used to be. So it's impossible to keep up with it all. But you do the best you can.
It's incredible, man. I tell you,
it was so cool in the day to look at an album and go,
yeah,
it was
that was
recorded at the studio. Sometimes they listed the microphones or
Yeah.
different stuff. He used the drums, this amps, and that was so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I remember Kiss,
guy.
like, Kiss Alive, and like Kiss plays the best at the time was Pearl drums and Gibson guitars because they wanted the best, you know. And I'll just never forget that. Seeing that on the record, it was so cool, man.
Yeah.
The thing with the Kiss record, John, growing up as Kiss fans like we did, that you first used to do is you used to cut the side and then you'd shake it because all the stuff would fall out, like the poster, the sticker, the tattoo, of course, the order form for merch.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a bonus. I thought it was a bonus when the inside sleeve was printed. You know, you pull it out and there's stuff on the sleeve. That was a bonus. Just the words,
back in the
lyrics.
Back in the old days, like Vanilla Fudge days, all they had printed on their sleeves were other albums on Atlantic Records, you know. And then they started printing up stuff, and now lately they're back to doing that again, you know, which is really cool when you have a nice sleeve printed up.
It really is. It's a bonus. Hey, Johnny, you're going like, you know, I mean, to be able to say that you played with Rob Zombie and in at least a couple incarnations. I don't even know what they. I mean, we talked about before coming on. Carmine was hanging with Alice Cooper earlier today, and Alice Cooper's. We all know what that's all about. What that experience. I've worked with him. We've all done stuff with him. But Rob Zombie, what could that have experience been like?
It was huge, man. It was, you know, coming from playing before Rob. I was in Testament and Exodus prior to that, but playing with Rob was like, you know, going to the big, huge productions and arenas. And it was like playing in Kiss, basically, with the pyro and the big drum risers and the visuals. And it was incredible, man. You know, it was a great part of my life. And as a matter of fact, I just sent Rob a text yesterday congratulating him on the #1 record.
How about that?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
He got one. He got one too.
Alice
Cooper just had one too. We just talked about that.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, today it doesn't. It's a lot less getting a -- record back because
but it's still #1. It's cool.
Still #1. Yeah, it is #1. But it's back in the old days, like in the '80s. What you had to sell 1 million to get a #1 record or something like that. You know, in 1 week, 500,000.
Different times.
It's all relative.
I like Rob. I like you with Rob, and I like Rob's music too.
But one of the questions, I mean, Rob as a dude, as a hanging out backstage, is he like an introverted, leave me alone kind of a, you know, or is he one of the guys?
He's pretty private, you know. I mean, like, you know, him and Sherry, they you know, when I was in the last tour we did, and they had, you know, their thing going on. They had their bus. It was kind of at the time, kind of everything separated a bit more. And but we've always been good friends, and but he's never that guy that go out and like, oh, let's go to the after party or anything like that.
No, it doesn't seem like that.
But good people, man.
Hey, you know, when Alice Cooper he opened up for Heaven and Hell on our first tour, there was a day off somewhere, and Alice was going to the movies. So I said, "You want to go to the movies with Alice?" Who wouldn't want to go to the movie with Alice? So he bought me popcorn. He bought everybody popcorn. Put his hair back. Put a hat on. He looked like just a normal guy.
Just a dude. He was Vince.
That's great.
He loved that.
It was Vince.
He was Vince at the movies. That's what he
bring
was.
his golf clubs with him or what?
You know what's interesting? You know what's interesting about these guys that you're talking about? So whether it's Alice or whether it's Rob or whether it's Kiss, isn't it interesting that the most theatrical performers, that these over the top on stage maniacs and these crazy guys, the way they dress and act, all of those people off stage are actually like the most reserved, all business people. Yeah. So people would envision people like what we're talking about off stage being the complete opposite off stage of what their persona is on stage.
Yeah.
And then there's Marilyn.
Manson is both ways. Yes,
I know. It depends, right? Eddie, you spoke a little bit. We talked about the Kiss albums, how cool it was with the stuff coming out of it. And you're obviously a Kiss fan, but my goodness, how cool was it when back in the day you actually had a hand in saying, "Hey man, Ace, why don't you let me help you out here?" And he said yes. I mean, being a part of that, take us down that journey, how that whole thing happened.
Well, I was young. I mean, this was 1986, and I was working for Megaforce Records. I got the job because a few years earlier, Johnny Z, who owned the label, came to my radio show and asked me to play this band that nobody would touch, and I did. And he said, "Thank you for doing that. If I can never get anywhere with this band, I'll give you a job for my record company." And 3 years later, he called me and gave me the job. And when I started working there, the roster was Overkill, Anthrax, not yet, but they were about to be. And although I loved a lot of that stuff, I said I always loved melodic hard rock. And I also wanted to see if we could find a band that would get on the radio and had a built-in fan base. And I, having grown up a huge Kiss fan, I knew Ace was out there. But Ace was very, at that time, very damaged goods, very untrustworthy. The history of alcohol, drugs, running the car against traffic. No one would touch him. And we actually tracked him down through Eddie Kramer, who was, Eddie Kramer had, and we tracked him down and we had a lunch, me, myself, John, and Ace, and we had a great conversation and it went really well. And the next thing you know, I mean, here we are, and here I am working in an A&R capacity, founding member of a hero band of mine. And to this day, we're still great friends. I spoke to him yesterday. He's going to be 70 years old next month. And he was talking to me about a birthday party he wanted me to come to. And it's been an incredible ride, but it all started all those years ago.
Wow.
Incredible, right? Who gets to say that about their heroes?
Yeah, I remember those days of Ace when he was really messed up, but then he straightened out pretty good when he came back. I saw him a few years ago, and he was all right actually.
He's been
doing
sober.
Well.
He's been
Doing
sober
well.
and healthy now for about 13 years. He's really.
Wow.
I told him there was a time when he would call me and I wouldn't answer the phone. I'd let it go to voicemail because I'd want to hear the voicemail message because I could tell him up or not on the voicemail.
Yeah.
And he was slurring and stuff. I'd wait till the next day to call him back. But if he was clear, I'd call him right back immediately. I don't have to do that anymore because I know he's always, always good, and I'm really happy.
And you pick up the line now, right? It's like, oh, Ace is calling. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
He'll call you for coffee in the morning. Okay, let's go.
Well, I tell you, John, you got a little bit of a New York, accent happening, but I tell you what,
It's not leaving.
Well, but I got to tell you, you talk to Ace, that guy is a New York cab driver if I ever heard one.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you something funny. Like when we were kids, his mom's number was listed in the white pages, and after school we would call her and talk to Mrs. Frehley and ask her all these questions about Ace and everything. And as we dressed up as Kiss and makeup, and my friend's apartment where he would burn his mom's ceiling with putting gasoline down his throat. It was freaking nuts.
Oh man.
Good stuff. Good times. Yeah.
You talk about being a little bit, back in the day, John. So when you're leaving, again, you're going. You got all the zombie stuff happening. You got that style of music. You're just hitting it hard, and then you go to the cult. How difficult was that transition? Was that something you really? I mean, there's obviously a lot of similarities. But there's some serious differences.
A lot of definitely differences with dynamics as well. The Cult has more ballad songs, lighter, and playing a bit lighter, not as heavy as I played really super heavy with Zombie. But after Zombie, when I went to the Cult, basically into that, and I had to kind of calm down a bit, which I still go pretty strong. Fucking we're drummers, man. We like to hit things hard, so sometimes you gotta just play for the song and for the dynamics, and it actually taught me to be a better drummer from that, and with Billy Duffy too. I mean, very dynamic player, and playing for the song, and then especially it helps me because I'm not killing myself as well. Like my hands. And
Yeah.
I know, like Carmine, you as well. You play and Vinny's too. You like with the stick in the middle. Like if you ever, you're like, did you develop that because you were getting cramped and stuff from the fulcrum or whatnot?
No,
because you do in the middle, right?
Cramped.
No.
Yeah, no, I hit it. Well, I play with the butt end first of all. The butt end gives you a bigger, fatter sound, and I played 3/4 of the way up the stick.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, very few people hit the drum as hard as the drum monster up there, and but
we play with the butt end of the sticks, Carmine and I, right? You know what the other end's for? It's for girls.
Earwax.
For girls.
Oh, for girls.
Ouch.
Ooh. He's a Vinny. He's a guest. Can you please?
Speaking.
When I think about John's playing about it, which is crazy, is John, you covered the gamut because Testament, you're playing all out thrash.
Right.
Zombie, you're like somewhere in the middle, and the Cult is more of like a straight up rock groove thing. So the three bands you're best known for playing for, you covered all the ground, really.
It's kind of a crazy spectrum. It actually started with Exodus was first, and like coming in to play the Tom Hunting stuff, and that was insane. And like I never played that kind of music. I was on tour with Anthrax, and they had asked me to do the tour, and like I never played this type of music before. And so anyhow, I just started watching them a lot and like listening and learning. And Tom's a left drummer. As you notice, as a lefty drummer, they do the fills differently. They lead with their left. And so they copy that kind of style. And of course, my first gig on the tour, the tour's already booked, right? I fly up to San Francisco to rehearse with them. And the first show is at L'Amour's in Brooklyn. Like, okay, the hometown show. My first friggin' show. And we didn't go on until like 1 a.m. I'm like petrified. And I remember Billy Milano was like, oh, he's coming. He's like, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But it went well, man. And it was a great time in my life. It was a great, I love the music. I love the guys. And, and I just went from there, from the Exodus to, well, as my dad says, the Exodus, the Testament, what's the next band? The Ten Commandments?
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Enzo
Tempesta. We talk about you doing the gamut. You're going from thrashing to practically some ballads, but there's something that Vinny is very profound when it comes to playing ballads. Vinny, why don't you share your perspective on ballads?
When the internet first kind of came out, I had my website, so I did it myself. I made it myself. I said, Vinny Appice, loudest drummer in rock. I said, no ballads, no love songs, no unplugged shit, no problem. And Carmine said,
no gigs.
No, he said no work.
No work, no gigs.
John, you remember when you did my video for my drum book?
I do. I was trying. I have the book. I was trying to break it out. I couldn't find it right in front of me, but that was amazing.
That was a lot of fun. That was great. Yeah,
it was a pleasure for me. I mean,
you did a great job. We had you. We had Kenny Arnoff. We had Bobby Rondinelli.
Oh yeah.
We had Rick Gratton, Vinny. Everybody did. It was really a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I got a question for Eddie. Eddie, do you play any instrument?
Vin.
Well.
Or
no. The answer is no, and it actually is one of my greatest. If I have a regret, it's that I never learned to play outside of this room. I got a ton of really cool guitars that musicians have been nice enough to give me over the years, and I can only look at them, and it really frustrates me. And I know it's not too late. I'd love to learn. I'd love to learn just to play some basic guitar, but I just haven't had the time or the distance. I'm on with 3 drummers here. When I was a young kid, the thing I did take lessons for was drums, and I had a little pad and my book, and I took like private lessons for a couple months. And I remember,
you have my book? You have my book?
I don't remember what the book was, but I just remember the music, and I remember just a little pad with looked like particle board it sat on, and I had the drums and
the rubber,
and I did it for a little while, but I really frustrated because at that point going back to Kiss, I had just gotten like Kiss Alive 2, and I'm looking at Peter Criss's drum kit, and I want to do that immediately, and I can't, and I just threw it all out, and that was it. So I've never picked up again since, but I do one day want to learn, just play basic rhythm guitar. I would love to, but just haven't ever gotten to it.
Wow.
Well, give our buddy David Fishoff a call. Maybe you can stop at one of those.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure he'll get you
I
in.
was there. I did a TV show for Access. Went around to all these different music events and festivals. It was called Trunk Fest, and it was just me covering these events. It's on their app. You can watch it on demand.
I've never seen some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the episodes we did, we went to a fantasy camp. The room I went into was Rudy Sarzo and Gary Hoey, and they couldn't believe that I didn't know how to play anything. So Rudy gave me the bass, and he's like, "Let me show you." He goes, "What do you want to learn how to play?" I was like, "What can I think of?" I said, "Okay, dun dun dun." So Rudy showed me, and I did it. And I'm like, I got to be able to do that, you know. And I love Michael, so I'm like, give me a little Michael Anthony vibe.
Cool.
That's
great.
Hey guys, we are hanging and banging every Thursday night. Next week, we've got a couple of superstars. We got from the Dead Daisies, of course, Doug Aldridge, and from Kiss, we're doing some Kiss talk tonight. Tommy Thayer will be on next week. We got a little spot to tell you all about it.
Hey, it's Carmine Appice here for Hangin and Bangin. Thursday night, April 1st, we got Doug Aldridge and Tommy Thayer. You know Doug from Whitesnake and Dio and so many bands, Dead Daisies. And you know Tommy from Kiss. And he was also in Black and Blue years ago. But Tommy's a great player and a great guy. He's just appeared on my Guitar Zeus album, and actually Doug is on that as well. But April 1st, they're going to be on Hangin' and Bangin' together, and we're going to have a rockin' time, so check it out, Artists on Lockdown, on Facebook, of course, and you can also check it out on YouTube. So April 1st, 7 p.m., Artists on Lockdown, Hangin' and Bangin'. Be there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Don't forget, you got to like, you got to share. We're all over the place. The podcast is going crazy. So be a part of Hangin' and Bangin' World. We are Artists on Lockdown. Very special guest tonight, Eddie Trunk, John Tempesta. Hey, Eddie, we first met. I was so excited. Again, I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt, buddy. You are my freaking hero with this stuff. And so a few years back, it was in 2014, I put this really cool show together. We did an outdoor show. And I had I want to do it like a Voices of Rock. And it was actually, let's see, it was Tommy, let me see here. It was from Cinderella, right? Who else
Kiefer.
we had? It was Tommy Kiefer. It was Brett Michaels. There's the picture. And Dee Snider. And actually, it was supposed to be Vince Neil from Motley Crue. And 3 weeks before the show, he canceled on us for whatever reason. And I called Brett, and Brett did it for us. But for me, now look at that picture. That's my brother Rich. And look, Dee Snider, Brett Michaels. You got Tommy and you got Eddie. And my hero is Eddie Trunk right there. I want to take a picture with Eddie. Those other three guys said, why don't you guys get in the picture too? I had Kiefer come in, but it was Eddie Trunk for me. That's my picture right there.
You guys are short, man.
I remember that was,
They're big people.
That was Ron, I remember that. It was a casino. There was like a riverboat casino or something.
That's right. It was at the Grand Victoria Casino. We put this big outdoor thing. We had Leonard Skinner there with everybody. It was a really, really cool thing. Oh, look at these guys.
Where was that at?
Billy!
Is that
Look
Billy?
at that.
Yeah, Billy Amendola.
Billy, I'm another Italian.
Yeah, that's Billy.
Yeah. Nice shirt, Carmine, yeah.
Carmine. Look at that. I
Looking
want to see
sharp.
that.
I have no idea where
Hey,
that
he
is.
is.
yeah.
Hey.
Now look at that guy.
Hey, we got to tell
I
Eddie
had
what we
better
used
hair
to do
then
to
than
you.
I do now.
Look at that.
Look at this guy. He's sporting the clothes there, sporting the style in there.
Nice.
You got a clothing line coming out, Eddie?
Guys, if it's a T-shirt and jeans, that's about it. That's all I got to offer.
Ron used to wear T-shirts. Tell him about it, Vin.
I don't know what happened. You know what? Because I was getting the complex with Vinny picking on me all the time. That's a good shot there. Is that like your headshot?
Sexy Ed.
That's a new photo. That's from that was done by SiriusXM recently. Actually, that's probably the newest one you showed. Yeah, sexy.
Look at this guy. Who's this looking guy over here?
Holy shit!
Look at that guy over there.
What do you got on your arms? Get over here.
Look at the guns on him.
John, did your did your dad know about those tats? Did he approve those?
Not at first. I used to hide those friggin' things. Let me tell you something.
So you do have an Italian dad.
Oh, no, my dad's straight from Italy, man. I'm first generation. Enzo, you didn't mess with him. Enzo. And I would actually, it'd be a freaking 90 degrees out in the, and I'd be wearing long sleeves. Until I told him, hey, Dad, I got to, listen, I'm in this band. It's very visual. It's like, this is what we do. This is the new generation. So, maneccia, these
listen to this guy.
But my dad was
my cousins.
Yeah, my dad he was an airline mechanic for Pan Am for 25 years at JFK. Then he worked for United. And so when I was in White Zombie, the younger guys were there and said, "Oh, my son, he works. He plays with a White Zombie." So and all the guys, they were fans of the band. So then my dad had that, that big card.
Yeah.
But to get your dad, an old school Italian guy, to admit his son is in anything with the word zombie attached to it is amazing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They're so religious.
Rock and roll fact: the version of Black Sabbath with Ronnie and I, nobody had any tattoos.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that.
You wouldn't think that. So
Geezer doesn't have any?
Nope.
That's right. No one does. Yeah.
Wow.
No.
I don't have any either. I don't have one.
Yeah, I
don't have any.
don't
better off.
A tattoo or a piercing. I don't know. I just never did it. I don't know.
I have one at the top of my butt here. It says Vinny. Right here. I can show it on my back down here.
A tramp stamp.
The tramp stamp.
I got
the Trump stamp.
Right here, buddy.
Hey, Eddie, we got to tell you, Ron used to come on the show with a T-shirt on, and any act we had, he'd get a paste-on T-shirt,
Tape.
on front. So he put it on, and half the time they were crooked. And Vinny would bust his balls all the time.
Because it was out of respect to our artist. I would put whatever, their picture on there, and Vinny would bust my chops, and I got self-conscious, so now I dress like a freaking English teacher. Are you happy now, Vinny?
But it is an insult to the people because you're just getting a piece of paper, or you might as well write the cult and tape it.
It's not. It's.
You see black tape on it. So.
Come on, it wasn't that bad.
Then I made one. I Hangin and Bangin. I downloaded it and printed it, and I taped it onto my.
But you had it upside down.
That's me.
Anyway, was there ever? I mean, out of the literally thousands of interviews that you've done, and they've been so many of them. Obviously, are amazing. What's the freaking disaster? What is the total oh my God, what am I doing here? Interview.
The disaster? Well, we waited.
Train wreck.
When we were doing that metal show, we went to Miami and we attempted Axl Rose, and this was before the reunion with Slash and everything, and that was at the time when Guns N' Roses, if you remember, when they were routinely going on at midnight. And they were playing in arenas, and they were playing 3. And we went there, and we flew in. The network sent us there because Axl had walked into my radio studio a couple years earlier, and they're like, "Well, we got a shot. No one had ever talked to him on TV in 15 years. Let's send you down there, maybe." So we all flew down, and we didn't really know what was going to happen. And I remember we got to the arena. We got to the arena backstage at 2:00 in the afternoon. We go down the ramp. We took over one of the dressing rooms. We set up our set. And we just didn't know if it was going to happen, if he was actually going to do it or not, or if he got the message. And we're standing in the ramp. And I remember walking out to get a drink. And here's Axl walking down the ramp into the venue at like 3:15, and I'm like, whoa! And he gave me a wave, and he walked to his dressing room. Running back, I'm like, I think this is actually going to happen before the show. We'll be good. We'll watch a few songs. We'll get out. We'll load out. We'll be good. Well, it didn't happen before the show. The band didn't go on till like 12:15. They played past 3 in the morning. Producer was not letting us leave until Axl left because he was convinced we were still going to get him. And he ended up, to his credit, coming over and doing the interview, and it aired, but he didn't come into the room, and I swear to you, it was about morning. And I was, with me and Don, Jim, the crew, we were just on fumes. We couldn't even keep our heads up. He's coming, he's coming. And we did the interview, and, you know, if people saw it, they saw it. And it was crazy because I had a hotel room in Miami because I went to the gig, and my producer's like, you can't leave. And then when we wrapped the interview, it was like 6:30 in the morning. The flight back to New Jersey was at 8. We went right to the airport. I literally never went to a hotel room that I paid for because we just pulled this all-nighter. So that was another That Metal show was when we were doing it. We had Manson on twice, and both times he was super whacked out on absinthe or something, and just trying to corral him was difficult. But that's what you expect with him, and I was prepared for it.
But now, you referenced it a couple years back. You actually spent like a couple hours with Axl on the air on your radio show. Did that go smooth? Because he's got his ways of like veering off or not saying anything at all.
That was a crazy thing too, because at that, I believe, would have been around 2004. What happened there was a TV show on VH1 called Supergroup, if you remember. It was Ted Nugent, Scott Ian, Sebastian Bach, Evan Seinfeld, Jason Bonham. And it was these guys living together. So they were promoting that show. And Scott and Sebastian and I think just the two of them were booked to do my show to promote their TV thing. So they were in the studio with me, and that's when Sebastian started getting random texts from Axl for the first time in like 10 years or something, and he was like flipping out about it. And Axl was at SIR rehearsing for that lineup of Guns N' Roses, and Sebastian kept going to me. He's like, dude, I'm going to get him to come over. I'm like, yeah. I said, well, tell him to come. So he texted him the address, and security calls from the building, and we looked on the closed circuit camera, and there he was with his group coming up the elevator. And nobody could believe it because at that point, he did nothing for like 10 years before that.
Right.
He was great. He came in, he hung out. We ended up, my program director let me stay on the air a couple hours extra just because, you know, he was there. We stayed on till probably like 3:30. And then afterwards, you know, Axl being Axl, he's like, I'm going to a nightclub in the meatpacking district. Let's go. And we went down there. We hung out with them at this club. It was like 5 in the morning, and I live in New Jersey. I live an hour away from New York. I'm like, I got to get out of here. So I left, and they were still going. So yeah, I had a couple pretty cool experiences with him, and he was always very cool with me. And just to, you know, once you get past all this, the you know, whatever, just like anyone, a music fan. I remember he was asking me about Nazareth, and we were just talking about like really interesting stuff that he was into. And then I saw him again when the Guns N' Roses did their first reunion show in Vegas. I went, and that's just before they announced him as a sub for AC/DC. And he called me over and he told me in my ear that he was actually doing it because at that time it had not been confirmed. And there's photos of me talking to him, and my face is like, because I couldn't believe he was really doing AC/DC. Like, wow. I couldn't believe, like, here he is relaunching Guns, but he's actually going to go do AC/DC too. It like blew my mind.
He did a great job with them.
He really did.
I didn't see it. I never ended up seeing one of those shows.
I didn't see it, but I seen videos, and they just broke out a lot of the old stuff, the catalog,
right?
Stuff you would never have ever seen them play now. So it was cool.
Well, it's good to hear because you hear a lot of freaking horror stories about Axel. So it just must be you, Eddie. It must be your charm and
Ron, I don't know if that's so. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously, having done this nearly 40 years now, there's I have I'm thankful that I've got a lot of respect from most of these artists, and we have a lot of history, and they understand where I'm coming from, and they understand I got to ask what I ask and say what I say, and it might not always be the thing that's the popular thing, but I think they're at the end of the day, they respect what I do. I respect what they do. But I also think that when it comes to, perceptions about artists and whether they're difficult or not, I think a lot of it comes from the handlers sometimes and the people around them. That sometimes there's so many walls and conditions and things put up because these people are all trying to do their job. And then when you actually get right to the person, they're cool. They just want to hang out and talk. I've run into that a lot of times. Not saying with Axel, but in the past where there's been all this build up and people, handlers getting in the mix and everything. And then when you get to the person, they're like, it's all good, whatever, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're absolutely right. Hey, John, I know
that's why we like this show, because this show is like people, when we talk to like people about doing this, they go, "Oh, well, what's the interview about?" I said, "It's not an interview. It's a hang.
It's a hang.
We're doing a hang. We do a hang. We do a hang. We don't. I mean, Ryan had some questions. He looks the stuff up, but it's just a hang. We all jump in, we talk about, we laugh, we have a good time.
We're gonna start to have coffee and cannolis too.
Cannoli.
I could
Coffee
use
and
a cannoli
cannoli
right now.
Hell yeah.
Then we'll get
Give me a Schwuyadel, will you?
I love these guys.
He pronounced it right. Listen to him.
I love these guys.
You guys don't know. I grew up in an Italian liquor and deli. My grandfather came over on the boat and built a liquor deli. My mom has two sisters, 2 brothers. I am so dominant Italian and brought up that way, you wouldn't believe it. And my dad, who's Trunk, he's German. He's more Italian than my mom because he still has to have his macaroni on Sunday. He's got the garden out back.
Yeah.
So we all just, even though I'm 50-50, I'm like 95% brought up Italian. It's crazy.
Well,
remember, it's macaroni and gravy.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you, Carmine. Thank you.
Hold on. That's one for the table here because in my family, and my family's from Naples, it was always sauce. But you're saying it's gravy.
Gravy.
Yeah.
John,
gravy.
Yeah, we said
Sunday gravy. Sunday gravy.
It was gravy.
Start early.
We used to dip the Italian bread in the gravy.
Yes.
The crusty one.
With the braciole.
With the braciole.
And the meatballs, right, Ron?
Making me hungry right now.
Well, you know what? As I own several Italian restaurants, and I've had to come up because it's like a political thing. It's like abortion. If your gravy or sauce is a serious thing. So I've had to come up with this concept, this perspective, right? So what I think of, we think about Sunday gravy, right? It's because we got the sausage and meatballs and the neck bones in there, and there's all that meat in there. That's that Sunday gravy. But when you don't have the meat in there, you have marinara, right? It's marinara sauce.
That's right.
So maybe it's like just the tomatoes is the tomato sauce, but the gravy is with the meat in it. That's what I say. It pleases everybody.
Absolutely. Yep.
See,
Sunday gravy.
This all started because I mentioned one cannoli. And you guys went off.
A bunch of gavones, as my aunt would say.
A bunch of gavones over here.
A bunch of gavoons.
Let me tell you something.
My aunt used to make meatballs. She was an amazing cook, and she would make meatballs, and she would put raisins and pinola nuts in the meatball.
Yeah. My grandmother did that.
I
My mother did
I
it
would
too.
love it, but my uncle used to get so mad. He's like, I don't want these fruit balls. He would call them fruit balls. Great.
Eddie, I don't know. You were a hero of mine before this show, but now, are you freaking kidding me? We're like cousins over here.
Did Eddie work your theater?
No, he did that outdoor event.
Because when you play Ron's theater, Ron cooks the greatest meatballs.
Thank you.
When you play his theater,
I cook for the X.
Yeah, it's awesome. We get some more of those meatballs. Can we get some to go?
Absolutely, you're coming.
I challenge you, Ron. I challenge you on the meatballs.
Let's do that, Johnny. Me and you.
Do Do you put the raisins and nuts or no?
I don't
No,
do
no
raisins. I don't like
raisins.
those fruit bowls. Don't worry about that. No.
You know, that's actually a Sicilian thing.
It is, yeah.
The raisins.
You guys are Sicilian, right?
You put the Sicilian. I'm Toscano.
No,
I'm
I'm
and
Barese.
Napolitano. You're Barese?
Yes.
Ricotta, Calabrese, and Napolitan.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know why I think they got it from my grandmother. You know.
My grandmother used to put those pine nuts in the meatballs.
Yep.
And as a kid,
Raisins.
I would eat it and go, Grandma lost a tooth. Meatball.
That's hysterical. Oh, I'm going to use that one.
Hey, Grandma. Fuck.
My aunt put them in the
You lost a
brajol
tooth.
too. She'd wrap them in the brajol.
It's unbelievable.
Listen to this guy.
Every Sunday, Grandma lost a tooth.
No wonder she looked like that. God bless her.
All right.
All right, so we committed to Stump the Trunk.
Yeah.
Let's get
So-
this guy.
But here it is. Here's a very special one because it's not just Stump the Trunk. It's Stump the Vin. Because this, my friends, is
Hey.
Dio trivia. Look out! Uh-oh.
Vinny's going to answer?
Well,
Me
you know
or
what?
Eddie?
Both of you, because here's the thing. There's some
Let
stuff
Eddie
here.
go first. Let Eddie go first.
Here's the good news is I got some great questions from our audience. The challenging news is I don't have the answers.
Oh.
I just got the questions. So say anything. Yeah. So here's the first one. I guess this is a thing, and one of you two could speak to it. Ronnie James Dio. He had a favorite food. Do we know what that was?
Yes,
Curry.
I know what it was.
Curry.
All right,
Curry.
Eddie. Eddie, what is it?
Well, just a curry. I just remember him always liking to get a curry. He would always get, I interviewed him we were in Birmingham in 06 for the third go round. And I remember it was very, like he had these places he had to go get his curry. So that's all I know.
Lamb vindaloo.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Indian food.
Okay, that's curry. That's curry.
Yeah, Indian food.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ding,
you know
ding,
what?
ding, 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 ding.
Okay. Ding,
All
ding,
right,
ding,
there's another a win. Here's another one. Apparently, and I don't know this, so apparently there was a doo-wop band involved with Dio. Do we know
He
this?
knows that.
Ronnie and the Red Caps.
Ronnie and the Red Caps.
Yeah.
But do you know this? I mean, I don't know anything about this. What was the story about it?
Is that right, Vinny? Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it was a doo-wop band when he was doo-wopping.
Yeah.
So how we do it? Eddie will answer
That
and
was
Vinny
in
will
the
confirm
50s.
it. How's that?
We're 2-0
What was
so
Ronnie-
far, so we're
who
going.
was
We're doing
Ronnie's-
good, Vin.
Who was Ronnie's inspiration for singing and the trumpet?
Oh, wow.
That's a good one.
Oh, shit, I
don't know.
forgot his
Now you don't know.
No, I forgot his-
Google.
Hey, Leslie.
This is just like. By the way, Ron, this is exactly what.
Oh, I got
happened
it.
on
I
that
got
little
it. I
show.
got it.
They didn't
What'd you
even
say?
know the answers themselves, and they tell me I was wrong to make me go crazy.
Hey, do you
Well, we
know
were going to
who-
give a CD. We were going to give a CD away. You know, if somebody stumped you, I can't give Vinny a CD.
No, I didn't want to see that. Eddie, do you know who his inspiration was for the trumpet and the singing and the whole thing?
No.
He used to tell me this, and I used to go, really? Louis Prima.
Yeah. Louis Prima. That's
I
right.
used to think, that's an old dude. No,
Yeah.
that's who he was listening to.
Are you
Then I
sure?
saw
Are sure
there's a-
Louis Prima or Louis Armstrong?
No, Louis Prima.
Louis Prima. There's he's on Amazon Prime. There's a movie about him. He kicked ass.
Absolutely. Him and Sam
Dancing
Butera.
Trumpets
Oh, yeah.
and because Ronnie played the trumpet and learned how to breathe a different way than most singers, and that's the way he sang. But I watched this movie and now I'm like really impressed. Louis
That's
Prima.
something.
Yeah.
All right, one more here.
Sang.
One more. Who is being referenced in the song Caught in the Middle?
Dun, dun, dun,
I don't even.
dun, dun.
You mean the name of the person he sings in the song?
Yeah.
There's
think
no
it's
name
like-
in the song.
No, who's it about?
It's about somebody.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to take a guess. Blackmore?
No, it's about Angelo, who was our recording engineer.
Angelo
That he
Curie.
was
I know Angelo.
Angelo
He
Turi.
was always, going through life in
Ding! They win a CD.
different ways.
Whoever
Yeah.
that was.
I didn't
That,
know
Vinny,
that.
that's what it was about? It was about Angelo?
It's about Angelo. Yeah, his things he got into, and his life was a little zigzaggy, whatever. But
Well,
As
we
my
I
got
didn't
mother,
know
to know
my,
that.
more
my
off
mother
the air.
used, my mother used to say
Angelo told me.
Angelucci.
Angelucci.
Angelo lives in Vegas. I saw him at the Hard Rock. He was doing
Yes,
sound, and
No,
that place
does.
vinyl.
now he lives in Kentucky with a
Okay.
girlfriend, Jade. They might be
Oh,
watching.
Angelo?
Hey,
Angelucci,
John.
you're watching Angelucci.
Angelucci. Hey, John. When you were coming up, when you just first were joined the cult. If it wasn't your first gig, it was one of your first gigs. We was live TV on Craig Ferguson. Was that a little nervous wracking?
Well, for the cult, because I just got in the band literally like 2 weeks prior to that, and we were in rehearsals and we're doing this TV show, and yeah. But I did TV with Zombie a lot. We did David Letterman like 3 times, and
Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah,
He was a huge Zombie fan.
we blew that place up, man. We had so much power in the place. Had to fire all the fire trucks are outside. It was great.
Oh, funny.
That is a legendary story that Letterman tells. Actually,
Yeah, good time.
I miss Letterman.
Me
Oh,
too,
man.
man. Me too.
Everybody, he was a lot more rock and roll than he's got given credit for. That's for sure, right?
Well, he was the one guy that I watched, regardless of who the guest was, because I watched for him. That was he was the guy. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, John, Eddie, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank
This is
you.
a big deal for
Yeah, that was
you
fun.
guys.
That was
A
fun.
lot of fun, guys. Always good to see you, man. I miss you all.
Yeah,
And
you too, man. Yeah.
Let's
Same
go
here,
eat.
guys.
Let's go
I'll
eat.
make some
Sweet.
balls.
Yeah, good
I'm gonna
sweet.
make some meatballs with no friggin' raisins or
No
pine nuts.
raisins. What
Your
is wrong?
grandma's teeth, okay?
Each week, every Thursday, we are hanging and banging right here with my buddies, my brothers here, Vinny and Carmine, special guests. We want to thank Eddie Trunk tonight, John Tempesta, and all of you out there who love and support live music.
Yeah.
We're coming back live
We're coming
really
back.
soon.
Yeah, man.
Really soon. Get ready to buy those tickets. I'm Ron Onesti here at Rock and Roll Heaven at the Arcada Theater right outside of Chicago in St. Charles. Until next week, we'll see you hanging and banging and Artists on Lockdown. Have a great week, guys. Stay safe. Stay
Thanks,
healthy.
guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Guys.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Like and share. We'll see you on our podcast. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.